This is the cream of the crop.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into episode 7 of the Resident Evil Netflix series review and summary. This episode is called The Parasite. The opening shot is even further in the past than we're used to going. It's all the way back in the Arklay Mountains, and we see a caravan driving down a mountain passageway. We zoom in on a laboratory where Albert is inspecting a microwave that blew up a burrito when we are suddenly introduced to a whole host of Albert Weskers with what seems to be the original Albert Wesker bossing everybody around. You can see him right there in the middle. There's 3 different versions of Albert Wesker in the room as well when a cool little Easter egg, what looks to be versions of the Hunk, enter the room. 2 of them at first. They try to tell him to get his hands up. Wesker shoots one of the clones. They start to shoot back at him. He goes to escape, and the other 2 clones are left alive inside of this laboratory. Evelyn enters the room, clearly confused, and asks, what the fuck are these guys? And I think that's one of the more funny moments, is just seeing how she reacts to multiple versions of Albert Wesker. We get the title card, and we are still in the past, but where we are used to, of course, where we're back in the cell, where Albert Wesker has been kind of imprisoned and remanded to. But he's now talking to the other Albert Wesker, the clone of himself. It's been 17 years since they last saw or spoke to one another, and they have a chit-chat about how he's been locked up the entire time. The clone of Albert, though, is shocked to hear that Albert has been out having a life and has children of his own and built a life for himself. This clone is called Bert. So we have Albert Wesker, we have Albert, and now we have Bert. When Bert hears, though, that Albert has daughters, he perks up, and you can tell that this is a point of emphasis and interest for him. He loves the fact that there is a family to them, a family element. I mean, he calls him bro at the end of their conversation. Security enters the room, gets Albert under control, and drags him out. And Bert kind of hollers out, "Don't worry, I got you, bro." We come to the present, though, where Jade, she is astonished to find that there's a tracking chip inside of the head of the Queen Zero. She was trying to figure out how Umbrella tracked him, and then she realizes that Billy knew that Jade wouldn't leave without her research, and even though Billy took the tracking chip out of her, Billy the whole time had one implanted in the Queen's head, making it oh so easy to track them. Arjun enters the room with a guard. Jade asks how B is doing, and basically, this conversation goes little to nowhere because Jade's only worried about B. Arjun, he's trying to get her to understand just how bad things are and how Umbrella wants a meeting with the head of the university. And they're going to give it to her. They're going to at least grant this. And when she asks who wants the meeting, she's shocked to hear that it's Evelyn Marcus. The leader of the university is then searched for weapons on his way to the tent where Evelyn Marcus is. And when she gets inside, Evelyn basically makes it very clear, very simple. She says, look, no matter how many people you have on that boat, no matter how many guns you have on that boat, no matter what blackmail or bribery material you have on that boat, my soldiers will go onto that boat, kill every single one of you, turn the whole boat into wreckage, and turn that bad boy into that Titanic to get what they want. And all they have to do to avoid this is hand over Jade Wesker. It's all they want. They don't care about the others. They don't want any of the past. They just want Jade. We cut back to the past now, where it's actually Wesker being held in an interrogation room. Evelyn enters to find Albert restrained in that chair. Conversation centers around why Albert killed Angel, reminds him of the deal they made. Albert does what Evelyn wants, and he gets to have his life, his family, his daughters. Albert asks about Bert, warns her that he is unstable, and we cut to find Bert having shaved himself to look just like Albert, and has killed 2 guards in his room. And Bert's going to be on the loose here in about 3 to 5 seconds because he's about to just walk out because these 2 guards are dead. We cut to the school where Jade and Billy are both getting worried about their father. Billy asks when they should start being worried, or Jade asks when they should start being worried, and Billy responds with the fact that she's been worried all along, and we immediately cut back to the interrogation room where Evelyn is trying to get Albert to see what she really wants, how they will change the world with this new drug, shape it into whatever they want. She bet everything on Joy, and she is going to get Albert to see how much she really cares because of how much she bet on this new drug, Joy. We come back to the past where B has come to visit her mother. She can't get in because it's locked, of course. Jade informs B to go to their cabin, get a green duffel bag, take it, and get her and Arjun off the ship immediately. It's the same thing she was mad at her own dad for doing, giving Jade and Billy a way out with a duffel bag. She's now trying to give B a way out with a duffel bag. So all the shit she was mad at before, she is just repeating those same mistakes. As Arjun said, she is much more like her father than she wants to admit. Finally finishing by saying that if Arjun's not going to go too, she's got to go alone. She must get away, and that Jade will be right behind her. She knows she's basically lying, that she's probably going to die here. And her last words in her apology to her daughter for all the wrong she's done, but she did them with the best intentions, to keep her daughter safe, keep her daughter happy, which is the exact same thing Albert Wesker tells his daughters, that he did what he did with the best intentions for his girls. We cut back to the past where Jade and Billy, they're met by Bert. They're outside of school. Simon comes up to try to talk to him. When they hear a horn honking, they look over. They think it's their dad, and it's really Bert. He's arrived with a Jeep. He picks them up, and he has a genuine desire to help these girls, but they're really weirded out by this interaction because Bert kind of just brushes off their questions about Umbrella and just moves on with his life. He's like, hey, everything's fine. We're all fine here. Move along. Smile and wave. We cut to the interrogation room, though, where Evelyn comes in and tries to tip Albert's hand by pointing out that Albert's going to need fresh blood from his daughters soon. He's going to start getting overwhelmed with pain, and he's going to basically break down from the inside out because she knows that Bert needs dialysis every single night, a cocktail of drugs to keep him stable. And now, without that fresh blood, Albert's cells are going to break down and fail him. And all he's got to do, he's got to go back to work. That's all she wants him to do. And she will give him the blood he needs to sustain himself. We are about to see a very interesting point of view, though, because back to Bert with the girls, they're having doubts about who this man is. But Bert has taken them to an Olive Garden, to a restaurant. The girls are caught up in what's happening. Bert has no idea. He just wants to have these family interactions. He's pretty oblivious. They retreat to the bathroom to try to talk over what they should do next. But we cut over to Simon because Simon and his non-Umbrella mom are having a problem. Because he's having a confusion moment where he doesn't know what to do. He's looking for help from his non-Umbrella mother, not Evelyn. And they talk it out. She gives him some good advice. But just as soon as the conversation's over, Evelyn arrives and starts to chat with Simon. They share a nice little moment of a mother and a son. And he pleads with her to work less. To which she replies, I can't stop, not right now, because she is so close to this breakthrough. But we see how and why everybody around that house has been so happy recently. Evelyn, behind everybody's back, has been pumping her wife full of joy by crushing him up and putting him inside her wine to keep her happy and docile. Evelyn finds out from security they can't find Jade and Billy, and she goes to use her only resource at this point, her own son, to text Jade to find out where she is. And Jade responds this time as they come back to the table and find Bert eating and enjoying the absolute hell out of some breadsticks. It is by far my favorite moment in the past 3 episodes. He asks the waitress to bring more breadsticks, and there's this great exchange where he says, I have my unlimited basket of breadsticks, but they both need their own basket of unlimited breadsticks. And when the waitress says, sorry, it's 1 basket of unlimited breadsticks per table, he kind of gets a little bit enraged, and he's like, that's a limit on what is supposed to be unlimited breadsticks. He takes a big chunk out of his first breadstick and then throws the basket at her and says, there, I'm done. Bring me some more breadsticks. And it's just a really funny moment. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was hilarious. It was a great little bit of levity in all of this. Bert's let the girls in on the fact, though, that he knows he's a clone. Talks about what he is, who he is exactly. And he's like an uncle. He's Uncle Bert. And that they aren't twins, but clones, him and Albert and Bert, they're not twins, they're clones. And there was another clone before he got shot in the head, and their original creator died in a volcano, but that's okay because he wasn't very nice anyway. There's nothing to worry about. They may genetically be just like their creator, but they're completely different personality-wise from him, and after pouring his story out to them, they're freaked out. Jade and Billy get up, tell him to stay the fuck away from him, and try to escape before being cut off by Umbrella security. The girls run to escape, and as Umbrella agents close in, Bert shows up and shows off some superhuman strength. Yes, that is a blood stain in the bottom right corner of that picture because Bert smashes a dude's head against the wall trying to protect his girls, or his nieces, really. And Bert goes to attack the head of security, and the head of security dodges him, handcuffs him to a door, goes over to the girls, said, "It's time to come with me." They say no, and he says that this isn't really a no situation. We cut back to the actual present where Jade is confronted by the leadership of the university and is told that she's going to be given over to Umbrella. B finds the duffel bag that she needs to escape and survive while Jade is being escorted off the boat. Her and Arjun share one little moment as Jade is about to leave. It's sweet. It's soft. It's a nice pacing beat to this where you had that funny moment with Bert, then you had the action sequence, now you've had this very serious moment, and then you get this loving moment before she leaves. But before we see what happens, we cut back to the past where Jade and Billy arrive at Umbrella and are met by Evelyn. She gives them a rousing speech about how girls are tougher and smarter than anyone gives them credit for and how scared they must be. Finally taking the girls in to go see their father, who is lying on the ground convulsing before he's finally administered some of his daughter's blood. He goes to explain himself to his daughters, and that only really makes things worse. Billy has the realization that's why he's been keeping them alive and taking their blood all these years. She doesn't care or know who he is. Everything is a lie. Everything he ever told them was a lie, and it was all bullshit. She hopes he dies. It breaks him. He's just laying on the ground, just broken now, but has enough strength to basically look up at Evelyn and say that if she does anything to hurt them, and before he can even finish, she cuts him off and says that she's not that kind of person. We cut back to the present where Jade is being taken off the ship, handed over to Umbrella. Once again, the guard meets them at the entrance, makes a joke about how this time it's good for them that they brought a gun, but only Jade's allowed to enter the encampment. Jade is fine with this, escorted all the way to the tent, and as she enters, Evelyn puts on a bit of a strange show where she's singing and dancing and having a good time before she's cut off and kind of falls flat like a robot, like head to the ground, just no energy, none whatsoever. Before we're revealed that Billy actually controls her with a little tablet. It puts drugs into her brain, allows her to be controlled by Billy. Jade's unimpressed, but angry that Billy tricked her. Billy retorts that she knew Jade would do the Jade thing, and that got them to where they are now. If Jade had just not done the Jade thing every single time, they probably wouldn't be where they are. And Billy goes into a tirade about how she is going to destroy the past because all the shit that happened in the past is what led them here. She's going to build a better future, make the world a better place. Jade continues to try and argue with her, and then pulls out her secret weapon, the pheromone, that she throws onto the ground and explodes. And it's the pheromone that makes zombies attracted to her, Zeros attracted to this spot. Billy quips that it was dramatic, but nothing has happened before all of a sudden a stampede, a herd-like noise is heard off in the distance. And suddenly, Zeros are flying in from all angles. I mean, they are attracted to this like flies are to shit, my man. Zeros are closing in on the encampment, running past the boat to get to that pheromone that's gone off. A university alarm sounds, and they start to see all the herds heading for the Umbrella tent. Arjun is worried about Jade. The soldiers are doing their best to mow down and shoot every Zero in the area. But, I mean, it's not happening. He can see from the boat that they are getting overrun. It is crazy. He looks through these binoculars. You can see that picture there where they're getting overrun by all these Zeros. Billy demands that Jade stop whatever it is, and she doesn't. She don't care. We get these really cool cuts between the past and the present, and as they cut back and forth, Jade and Billy are sat kind of in a waiting room. They're lost. They don't have any answers. They don't know what to do. They're both upset. They're both emotionally drained. Then back to the camp where Zeros are closing in on Billy and Jade. Billy grabs at Jade's wrist, not her hand, at her wrist, like this. And there's this moment of distress where Billy doesn't really know if she's going to make it and what to do in this exact moment before we cut back to the Umbrella Lab and we get one of the coolest shots of the entire show. Billy grabs Jade's hand back in the past when they're still sisters. And up on the monitor in front of them, instead of the black and white Umbrella logo, or red and white Umbrella logo, it's a black and red Umbrella logo. Instead of having the white, hopeful, bright, vibrant Umbrella Corporation colors, it is dark, it is gloomy, it is that black and red Umbrella logo with the girls holding their hands, and it feels like all doom and gloom. And that is the end of episode 7. Parasite, on a scale of 1 to 5, probably got some of my favorite moments in this entire episode. I'm going to go all the way up to a 4. I think it was brilliant. It had great pacing. It had great beats. It had great cuts. It had great action. It had great loving moments. I really thought it was really well written out, especially Bert's scenes. Bert in this episode steals every scene that he's in. He's incredible. The way that that actor can cut back and forth between the very serious Albert Wesker at the very beginning, the Albert Wesker father, and of course Bert, who is joking, who's kind of unstable, but is definitely has got something going on up there because he recognizes that he's the uncle of these girls and he cares for them. I'm giving it a 4 out of a 5. It's one of the best paced, one of the best written, one of the best episodes thus far for me, in my opinion, with some of the best moments. Let me know what you thought of it. Like, comment, subscribe down below. You know how we get down here. I appreciate you for being here. And don't forget, tomorrow, the final episode, episode 8 of the Resident Evil Netflix series.